Good morning. It is 5 a.m. We've got 4 300s at 90% off of 8 minutes recovery. I think I'll give myself an extra 2 minutes max should I need it. We're in the middle of doing some hurdle mobility at the moment. In my experience, a lot of people usually do this at the same time. Around the same time, people start gauging how their endurance is, how their special endurance is, particularly using the old-fashioned either 45-second test or the 4 rounds of 300. So we're still going to be working in the fatigued state right now, so full recoveries aren't on the agenda just yet. This is me before my first 300. It's gonna get real loud. 40.5. Misjudged. 50 to 150 mark. Still, I can knock off a second. So I'm not sweat. Just getting into rhythm. Hey, okay. So we went 40.5 on the first. Let's not make the same excuses. 25.6 for 2. 39.2 for 3. Yeah. Feeling the effects of this week, 100%. I've only had one session on Wednesday. All I did was accelerations, trying to just get the hamstring back in place. So the hamstring's feeling a bit weak still. However, I said no excuses. So my heart rate is still a little bit up. It's primarily anxiety. It's a really nauseating feeling when you can't bring your heart rate under control. Oh, fuck. Yeah. That was a 40 point. Yeah. Wasn't happening. Sometimes it's just what happens. I think it's a real mental battle some days. And today was one of them. So, final warm-up set. We're gonna take un, deux, trois for a run. So let's put it on the back and figure out how bad things are. So it's pretty heavy. Yeah. That ain't heavy enough. we're gonna have to jump another 50 kilo for that eccentric. So we're calling this rep 1. We have 4 plates on there. So let's put it on my back first. I think that's what worries me the most, putting it on my back. Ay, ay, ay. I am not going to attempt to squat that back up. I know what's going to happen. So, we press it up. The time-consuming section. Yeah, for those of you at home who have done eccentric training before, it would be great to have your input on your experiences. Obviously, eccentric training, stretch-mediated muscle damage. Right, we're going for the power. Ready? Okay. Load it back up. I think that's one thing that becomes a little bit underrated. How long things get when either A, you're not prepared, or B, you're doing something quite exhaustingly technical. Alright. So this is the final set of 8 ODLs. Single leg. Because you know how it be. Let me move that actually. We're taking the double 46s. Second, I thought it was 48. Bad eyesight. Right. So far it's been okay. Worked out pretty nicely. I think anxiety is under control, and my CNS doesn't seem to be too bothered. I know it's going to be though. We're gonna have to see what happens. Let's go. Fuck. Ow. GHC extensions. Okay. Oh, fuck me. Oh, cunt. I love this, but what the fuck. So, I have to wait for the leg extension. We're going to do our chest presses and our back. Okay, maybe too low. Okay, there's more like 4 reps in reserve. Purely based on the fact that I'm not happy with how comfortable that was. So a huge part of trying to stimulate those hypertrophy kind of mechanisms, mechanical tension. So obviously we've got the active and the passive. Active being contractile tissues and passive being non-contractile. Anyway, I'm going to finish this off and hopefully my leg extensions go through. Right, we're routing home. I forego the leg extension machine. So I wasn't actually going to be doing leg extensions, I was going to be doing hip flexion. You've got the cable hip flexion, very unstable. Not a fan of the ability for you to load it. However, the great thing about the cable leg hip flexion is the leverages and the range of motions that you use. That's where it becomes more beneficial, particularly since like we're running. So I kind of sit under the leg extension machine as you would with kind of hip thrust kind. I use the leg extension machine for an awful lot of things. Now, the hip flexion movement, very stable, very short range of motion. You can do things to increase this, however, it's very time consuming to set this up. So it's very tricky to do, in all seriousness. Couldn't be bothered. And one thing I will say now, with all of my opinions on strength and conditioning, my foremost opinion is being intuitive and registering that sometimes you don't have to finish a session completely, because for the sake of being able to do the next session, sometimes you do have to call a session short. I called my track session short. I got in the gym okay. I'm telling you now, had I not called my track session short, I would have been pretty hard done by on the ability to get in that gym and do anything of value. I think a 40 point, a 39, and a 40 point again, not great, but my anxiety was all over the place and my central nervous system was kaput. Physical fatigue from lack of sleep plays into that. So I'm gonna get a nap today when Junior's having his nap, and we'll go from there. But as I said, it's about being intuitive with your training and being intuitive particularly in sessions. You should be quite acquainted with your body, and you should know when your body is okay with being pushed and when it's not okay. I know when my body's okay with being pushed, hence I got in the gym. I knew I was not okay being pushed when I was on that track though. Central fatigue in that was going to be horrible on my body, and I was just going to come worse off. That's how we roll. Thank you for joining me today. As I've said, I've asked you to leave a couple comments about certain things if you want to speak about them, if you want to inform me, if you want to ask questions to inform yourselves, feel free. It'd be nice to build a little community. Peace.